All right, thank you,
Jess.
Jess. Well, we are joined right now by Dr. Scott Osur. He is a local allergist and immunologist, and we're so glad you're able to come in today, Doctor, because we're talking about what appears to be really a new issue, food allergy bullying. And we were just talking off camera. This is something that we're just starting to hear about, but your suspicion is that it's happening more than people realize. Talk to us about that.
Right. I have a sense that bullying of children with food allergy is probably a phenomenon that's been around for a while, and what we hear about now probably is just the tip of the iceberg. I think there's a lot more going on that children may not report to their parents or their teacher.
Well, we understand that kids probably get upset that when they have a birthday and you used to bring in cupcakes and things, there are certain things you can't bring into a classroom anymore, and that may upset them. But I think the point that needs to be driven home for a lot of people is how dangerous some of these allergies actually can be, right?
Well, that's quite true. It can range from a child who may be allergic to peanut having just hives, or they can actually have breathing difficulty or really truly life-threatening episode. So it can be very serious.
And I think a lot of times children don't understand that just being anywhere near it is a problem. They think, well, you know, you're not having my lunch, you're not having my snack, why can't I bring it in? Can you explain that a little bit more for us and why that is an issue?
Yeah, well, one of the major issues is potentially cross-contamination of the food they're eating, particularly in small children who might share foods or snacks with other children. They could be adjacent to that child and they may grab the cookie that another youngster has, or it could end up on the table and contaminate their meal. So, so you have to be very careful of not just what you're eating, but what your surroundings are.
And so to protect those children, they essentially have to be isolated, at least in the cafeteria, and that's probably part of the reason why this becomes an issue. They appear to be different because they have to be by themselves, or at least in a group of children who have allergies, and that's where the problem comes in.
Right, and you know, sometimes with bullying, you look for someone with a different characteristic or a vulnerability, and these children can sometimes stand out if they're at a separate table, and then potential bullies, you know, cue into that, and then you have a problem.
It's so unfortunate. One of the questions I've always had about these allergies, you know, I'm 42 years old. When I was in grade school, I don't recall ever hearing anything like this. You know, you always had a friend who was allergic to milk or maybe lactose intolerant, right? But the severity of these peanut allergies and things seems to have been a really recent thing.
Right. Well, that's an excellent point. Food allergy has increased tremendously in the last 10, 20 years. In a previous decade, it went up about 20%. Now, upwards of 5 to 8% of children have a food allergy.
And we don't know why.
Well, we don't know why, but it appears one of the major issues is a change in feeding habits of young children. For example, with peanut, we've learned recently that what we've done for the previous 20, 30 years, the previous generation was wrong. We should actually feed children peanut under a year of age to help prevent peanut allergy. And some of this caution that we've had over the past generation actually has probably led to more allergies.
Hurting instead of helping.
Right.
So real quick here, doctor, what do we tell our children who may be affected by these allergies? How can we help them?
Well, I think education is extremely important. A child and the parent and the teacher need to know what the child's allergies are so they can avoid them. The child also has to be educated to speak up to some adults if they feel that they're being teased or bullied, because it can be a very dangerous situation, and even beyond that can lead to poor quality of life for them, you know, potentially depression or being socially isolated. So I think communication is extremely important, as well as education.
And educating those who don't have the allergies, they'd be more tolerant and understanding too.
Absolutely.
Dr. Osur, thank you so much for coming in, talking about this issue.
Stay with us. More news and weather coming up right after the break.
You're watching News 10 ABC. Dedicated, determined, dependable.